أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم الحمد لله رب العالمين Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah calls our attention in the Quran and He says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Again, dear brothers and sisters, this is your brother Imam Abdul Azeez, and we're talking to you about fasting Ramadan. More specifically, we're talking about the levels or the degrees of fasting. Last time we were together, we talked about the first degree of fasting, which is the general fast. This is the fast in which we avoid eating and drinking and intercourse with our spouse from sun up to sundown. And it says that is in and of itself covers the fast in and of itself. Now, when I first accepted Islam, I didn't have any idea that there were levels of fasting. And it took some time and some study to see that fasting is a little more put together, a little more thoroughly put together than just doing without food and drink. And that brings us to the discussion about the second degree. Somul Khusus is what it's called. According to Ibn Qudama in his book Minhajul Qasidin, he says that it is Somul Khusus, or the distinct fast. A fast that's distinct, but it's described as the second degree, a degree higher than Somul Umum. The Umum is general, the Khusus is distinct. And the distinction here is that not only does it cover the abstinence from food and drink and sexual intercourse with your spouse from sun up to sundown, but it also entails the fasting of the eye, the fasting of the tongue, the fasting of the ear, the fasting of the feet. It implies those particular types of fasting. What I touch, the fasting of the hand, the restraint of the hand, the restraint of the eye, the lowering of the gaze, the restraint of what I say out of my mouth, the restraint of what I'm listening to. We live in a society that there's so many things that are visual that can cause you to break your fast. There are so many things that are related to sound that can cause you to break your fast, that can divert your attention, to get you sidetracked. And all of a sudden, you forgot that it was the month of Ramadan. We've been bombarded with popular culture, and this popular culture has instituted the idea by having fun all the time. No time to reflect. That's too much thinking for me. And that we want hours yesterday. And so Ramadan is here to slow us down, to keep us a little more composed, to get our thoughts together so that we can make the right decisions, as opposed to these poor choices that we're making in our lives. And so the important idea is that the fast of a distinct fast is the second degree or the higher degree of fasting includes abstaining from food and drink from sun up to sundown, abstaining from intercourse with your mate from sun up to sundown. And it also implies the fasting of the eye, the ear, the tongue, the limbs, the hands and feet, where you're going, what you're touching, what you're engaged with, who you be with. The fasting in and of itself is very important that we understand that. The Somul Khusus is a distinctive fast, and it's the higher degree of fasting, but it includes the lower degree, which is the general aspect of fasting. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us increase in our understanding and application of the fast of Ramadan. So much to the point that everything around us becomes fasting. Our television set is fasting when we're in Ramadan, when we're fasting Ramadan. Our phone begins to fast with us as well. Our radio begins to fast as well. And so all of those things around us and about us also take on the position of fasting just by its association with us. Even our friends who are not fasting, they recognize that we can't say or do that or bring that to that person because that's our friend and they're fasting. We know them enough to know that they're fasting Ramadan. So why not? We're not going to invite them to lunch, or we're not going to be eating around them. Not that it's going to affect them in any way, shape, or form, but out of a means of respect. It's very important that we understand that, dear brothers and sisters, because this type of fasting, the khusus type of fast, it restricts what we say out of our mouths. It restricts what we say here in our ears. It restricts what we're touching. It restricts where we're going, you see. And so all of those things have to check with the fast first before we decide to commit ourselves to anything. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to aid us to not only embody the general fast, but to also embody the second degree of fasting, which is the fasting of the eye, ear, tongue, hands, the limbs. And to that we say Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.